Hi everyone, I'm Dana Shibley with Verifyle. Here are 10 tips in 10 minutes for Verifyle users. If you're not familiar at all with Verifyle, then we suggest that you first go to YouTube, type in Verifyle Overview, and watch either the quick 8-minute overview video of Verifyle or the detailed 59-minute video. All of you as CSTC members should know that you have access to the premium version of Verifyle, which is Verifyle Pro, at no charge to you or anyone at all with whom you'd like to share information. Tip number 1, raise your situational awareness by using timing indicators inside of Verifyle. Here we're working inside of the tax planning workspace thread, which is part of the workspace called Client Christine Carson. In the tax planning workspace thread, we can see that we're communicating with Sammy Spouse and Christine Carson. If I click on Sammy Spouse's name, I can see that he has not yet viewed the content inside of this workspace thread. If I click on Christine Carson's name, I can see that she last viewed this content on Sunday, February 2nd at 9:21 a.m. Similarly, I can go to the Documents column, hover over any particular document, click on the gear, click on View History, and see that Sammy Spouse has not yet viewed this particular document, 1099 div. But Christine Carson has looked at it 6 times. And if I click here, I can see the exact dates and times that Christine Carson has viewed this particular document, giving me a sense perhaps for the intensity of her interest in this particular document, and also maybe an idea about how fresh this information is in her mind, perhaps because she has very recently looked at it. Tip number 2, when to use private messages versus workspace threads. If you click on the Contact tab in Verifyle, you can see your entire list of contacts. You can click on any single one of those contacts to have access to private messages between you and that one other individual, in this case, Christine Carson. So this is a very quick, easy way to have a secure one-to-one communication with any of your contacts using private messages. But the nice thing is that these private messages are not only accessible via the contacts area, you can also access them from inside of workspaces. For example, in the workspace here, Client Christine Carson, you can see that in the workspace thread called Estate Planning, I'm communicating with 3 different people, including Christine Carson. Okay, because Christine Carson is someone I'm communicating with inside of this broader workspace, the Verifyle system has automatically added Christine Carson as a guest in this guests list here. And at any time, I can click on her name here and get access to that same private messages area, so I can continue that secure one-to-one communication with Christine Carson. However, the reason that I started communicating inside of this broader workspace area in the first place is so that I could use workspace threads, like the estate planning workspace thread, where I can communicate with more than one person at once. I can remove any of these people anytime that I want to. I can also go and remove access to any document anytime that I want to as well. And if I want to add another topic in the form of another workspace thread, then I can do that anytime that I would like to. These are all powers that I get from working inside of a workspace. Tip number 3, shifting topics. Right here, you can see that I'm working inside the workspace thread called Estate Planning. But over time, after dozens or even hundreds of messages back and forth with these people, what might happen is that the topic of this workspace thread might change. No problem. I click on the gear, I click on Rename Thread, and let's say the conversation is no longer so much about estate planning as it is about succession planning. Well, I just changed the name of that workspace thread. Very easy. Tip number 4, session management. If I click on my name at the top right-hand corner of the page, then click on Account Settings, I can scroll down and click on Session Management. And it is here that by moving this slider here, I can indicate to Verifyle the amount of time after which, if I am inactive in Verifyle, I want Verifyle to automatically sign me out of my Verifyle system. So this is a particularly handy feature for those of you who might sometimes forget to sign out of Verifyle. Tip number 5, optimize my home screen usage via ordering. If I look over here on the right-hand side, I see a tab named Sort. I can click on it and I can sort all of my workspaces by workspace name or by updated date, which is how I like it, or any other number of criteria. Okay, I can also click on the Contacts tab, or I can also click on Sort, and I can sort the names of my contacts by first name alphabetical, by last name alphabetical, or I can keep them sorted by recency, which is how I like it, by updated date. Okay, the other way that I can optimize my home screen is by using tip number 6, which is optimizing it by using archiving. For example, there's a workspace here called Project 9195. Let's say that this project is pretty much wrapped up and I don't want it to be in my immediate line of sight here. No problem. All I need to do is click on the gear and click on Archive Workspace, and that particular workspace is no longer in the active top colored area of my list of workspaces. But if I click on Archive, there I can see the Project 9195, and I can unarchive it anytime that I would like to. Tip number 7, storage. If I go into the workspace of client Christine Carson, let's say that I want to have a storage space for documents that are just for my reference, and I want them to be inside of this workspace, client Christine Carson, so that this information is always at my fingertips when I'm thinking about client Christine Carson. No problem. I click on the plus sign and I'm going to type in the name of a new workspace thread that I'm going to call reference materials, just like that. And then in the reference materials workspace thread that no guests have access to because it's just for me, I'm going to click on the paperclip symbol and I'm going to add a couple of documents here. How about asset allocation and asset list? And then I'm going to click send. And now those documents are encrypted in secure storage, in secure archive, if you will, just for me to have access to, right at my fingertips when I'm thinking about client Christine Carson or communicating with client Christine Carson. Very handy. Tip number 8, I can also create an entirely new workspace into which to store information. I'll click on the plus symbol here, and I'm going to create a new workspace called Family Health Records. There it is. I can click on it, and I'm prompted to add guests into this workspace. I would probably, for example, add the names of my family members, and I might also add workspace threads such as annual checkup records or dental records and so forth. And it is in here, in this workspace, Family Health Records, that I keep all of the sensitive information about my family's health records, accessible by all of them. Okay, tip number 9, 3 helpful steps for getting started in Verifyle if you haven't already done so. A, bulk upload your contacts. Go to the Contacts tab, click on the plus symbol, and then rather than typing in individually each person's name and contact information, use bulk import in the form of import from CSV. CSV is the standard file format for software companies to use to export and import contact information. If you need a little help with that, just go to YouTube, type in Verifyle contacts, and you'll see a nice little mini tutorial video there that will show you how to easily bulk import contacts from another software system into Verifyle. B, send a regular email from your regular email system to all of your contacts, letting them know that from this point forward, you will be communicating with them inside of Verifyle so that their information is safe and secure. C, put something inside of Verifyle for all of your contacts, for all of your clients. For example, that might be even just a welcome message, okay? That automatically creates an email alert for each of those individuals so they have an immediate reason to go into Verifyle and easily get in to see that welcome message from you. This way they don't feel like there's a setup process. And also, importantly, there's some content waiting for them inside of Verifyle. Nobody likes to go into a new software system they haven't been exposed to before, and there's nothing inside of there waiting for them. Okay, so those 3 helpful steps are: bulk upload your contacts, send a regular old email to your contacts letting them know that you're going to be using Verifyle from this point forward, and then also put something inside of Verifyle, even just a welcome message, which creates an automatic email alert for them to get and brings them into Verifyle easily to see that warm welcome message from you and access any other content you might put in there for them. And then tip number 10 is don't put all of your clients inside of a single workspace. That gets very messy very quickly. Best practice in your industry, based upon many people in your industry using Verifyle, is a practice where you have a workspace for each of your clients, a separate workspace for each of your clients. Those are your 10 tips. Thank you.